3 San Antonio Spurs players who could be traded during the 2025-26 NBA season. The San Antonio Spurs enter the 2025-26 NBA season in an interesting position. After missing the playoffs for the 6th consecutive year, the pressure is beginning to mount on the franchise to take the next step. This season feels different, though. With a young superstar in Victor Wembanyama, the addition of all-star guard De'Aaron Fox, and the continued development of Stephon Castle, San Antonio finally has the foundation of a potential contender. The front office also doubled down this offseason, bringing in reinforcements and setting expectations that the team can snap its postseason drought. The Spurs drafted Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant in the first round, signed Luke Kennard in free agency, and pulled off a sneaky trade to acquire Kelly Olynyk from the Washington Wizards. These moves give the roster more balance, shooting, and depth than in recent years. Still, the NBA is a league where teams rarely stand pat. If the Spurs want to keep climbing the Western Conference ladder and maximize Wembanyama's early years, they might need to be aggressive ahead of the trade deadline. San Antonio has valuable assets and several players who could realistically be moved in the right deal. Here are 3 Spurs players who could find themselves on the trading block during the 2025-26 season. 1. Devin Vassell. When the Spurs selected Devin Vassell with the 11th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, he was one of the first building blocks of the post-Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, and DeMar DeRozan era. Vassell has developed into a reliable two-way wing, capable of guarding multiple positions while providing floor spacing and secondary scoring. Now 25, Vassell is entering what should be his prime years. He averaged 16.2 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game last season while shooting a solid 37% from 3. Those numbers might not jump off the page compared to Wembanyama or Fox, but they represent steady growth and valuable versatility. However, Vassell has often flown under the radar in San Antonio. With Wembanyama emerging as the face of the franchise and Castle looking like a potential long-term star in the backcourt, Vassell risks becoming the odd man out in the team's future hierarchy. From a trade perspective, Vassell's combination of youth, contract security, and skill set makes him extremely attractive to other teams. Playoff contenders looking for a 3-and-D wing could pay a premium. The Spurs, meanwhile, could package Vassell with draft picks to chase another star-level player who better complements Wembanyama's timeline. It's not that San Antonio wants to trade him, but if the right opportunity comes along, Vassell could be the piece that makes it happen. 2. Keldon Johnson. Like Vassell, Keldon Johnson was one of the bright spots for the Spurs during the darker days of the rebuild. Drafted 29th overall in 2019, Johnson exceeded expectations early in his career and even earned a spot on the Team USA roster that won Olympic gold in Tokyo. Johnson has been a dependable scorer, averaging double digits every year since his sophomore season. At 6'5", 220 pounds, he plays with a physical edge that coaches love. Last season, he posted 14.8 points and 5.3 rebounds per game, often coming off the bench as San Antonio experimented with lineups centered around Fox and Castle. But that shift to a bench role may also be a sign of what's to come. Johnson has been the subject of trade rumors for over a year now, especially after his minutes and role started to decline. The Spurs have plenty of wing depth, and with younger players like Harper and Bryant now in the fold, Johnson's long-term fit is uncertain. At just 25, Johnson still has value as a starting caliber forward. Teams in need of a rugged, versatile wing, think playoff squads trying to bulk up defensively, would likely be interested. Like Vassell, Johnson is unlikely to be moved unless it's part of a bigger package, but if the Spurs decide they need to consolidate talent, he could be one of the first names to go. 3. Harrison Barnes. The Spurs surprised some people last summer when they acquired Harrison Barnes in the multi-team deal that sent DeMar DeRozan from Chicago to Sacramento. At 33, Barnes doesn't fit the timeline of San Antonio's young core, but his presence has been valuable. Barnes played all 82 games last season, averaging 11 points and providing steady leadership both on and off the court. He's a consummate professional, someone who knows how to space the floor, defend within a system, and set an example for younger teammates. That said, Barnes' value to San Antonio might be greater as a trade chip than as a rotation piece this season. Contending teams love adding veterans like him at the deadline, players who can slot into a playoff rotation without disrupting chemistry. His expiring contract also makes him easier to move. For the Spurs, trading Barnes would open up minutes for younger players like Carter Bryant and give them more developmental opportunities. If the team is hovering around the play-in race but not firmly in playoff position, it would make sense to cash in on Barnes rather than risk losing him for nothing in free agency. The bigger picture: the Spurs finally have a roster that feels like it's moving toward contention rather than just development. Victor Wembanyama is the centerpiece, and pairing him with De'Aaron Fox signals that San Antonio wants to accelerate the timeline. But this also means tough decisions are coming. The Spurs can't keep every promising young player while also trying to compete at the highest level. Trading someone like Vassell or Johnson would be painful, but it might be necessary to acquire the kind of star who could push them from fringe playoff team to true contender. Alternatively, if the team gels quickly and surges in the standings, the Spurs may choose continuity over change, holding on to their current pieces and betting on internal growth. Either way, expect San Antonio to be active in trade conversations this season. Whether they make a blockbuster move or smaller depth trades, the message is clear: the Spurs are done waiting. The Wembanyama era is here, and the franchise is ready to take risks to build a winner around him.